Heeelang batho ba Modimo, welcome to the 4th episode of Confessions of a Consecrated Cutie. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Yeah. So obviously, you should know who I am by now. We're 4 episodes in, but if you don't know who I am, I would suggest that you start with the very first episode so that we can get to know each other. You can tell me who you are and you'll get to know who I am, and you can just continue to follow the story as we go, you know what I'm saying? Because we literally on this journey together. If we are watching on YouTube, please make sure that you like this video so that more people can get access to this great, amazing, beautiful podcast. If you are listening to me on Apple Podcasts, please make sure that you leave me a review. Give me a 5-star rating, 4-star rating. You know, we don't do less than 3 because we're amazing over here, okay? And just let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts and feelings are about this podcast so far. 4 episodes in. Are we feeling it? Are we not feeling it? How it has touched your life, improved your life, or just thank you so much, relatable. Let me know. So I took a bit of a 2-week break, and it's sort of hard to get back into the swing of things. I had to take a break because I got a sinus infection and it was dribbling me. I saw the light, you guys. I really thought I had COVID, but I got tested and everything. I didn't have COVID, but I just wanted to give myself the space to really rest. And I don't know how much of the rest I got because school said, oh, you thought. So school said, oh, you thought. Oh, school said, oh, you thought. But honestly, I'm just glad to be back. And obviously, you guys know that on this podcast, we are telling a story, so everything is adding on or continuing. It's a continuation from where we left off in the previous episodes. I might have said the wrong episode number, but we move, innit? The point is, the story, and the story will remain regardless of the episode number that we have. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I think it was episode 1 where I was talking about the fact that if somebody doesn't like me, the first thing that I will say is, okay, my personality. But the second thing that I will talk about is be like, oh, it's because I'm a fatty. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about my experiences as a fat girl and how I don't want to start a revolution just because I'm a fat girl. I don't want to have to prove my worth to the world just because I'm a fat girl. I want to be able to purely just exist and have good experiences. That's all that I want. So to start off, sharing my journey in terms of being a fat girl, I was never a skinny girl. I was never a skinny girl from primary all the way to high school. I think around high school I got really big, and then I joined Wayless. So Wayless worked for me, which that culture, we have another conversation for another day. So I'm getting a little emotional because obviously this is so close to my heart because my feelings be hurt, guys. My feelings be hurt. But anyways, I obviously joined Wayless and I lost some weight. And so when I lost that weight, I think I was in grade 10, so I was turning 16 or whatever. So I lost weight. You see the collarbone for real, okay? You can see no collarbone right now, and I do a bit of an angle, then you can see the collarbone, but you can't really see my collarbone anymore. But you can see my collarbone. That was the tiniest I've been obviously in my life. I'm not trying to get back to a point where I'm like that, because realistically that ain't gonna happen, because I'm in my prime childbearing years. The hipster was up, fupa area was up, so I started noticing people treat me differently. And usually when I have this conversation, it's always a matter of guys find girls that are more skinny more attractive or whatever. And obviously that was the case. And I don't care about, I lie, say I don't care about what niggas think anymore. But I do care what niggas think, especially because I'm trying to go back into the dating world. But anyways, I digress. I started noticing how people started treating me more differently. How much, and it's not a main thing, like how people, like family, acquaintances, like how you could walk into a room and suddenly people pay attention to you, people want to hear what you have to say. What you have to say sort of has more value because you're not fat. And usually when I have this conversation with people who have never had this experience, it's always this very dismissive of like, no, there's no way, you matter, you whatever. But unless you've walked in those shoes, it's really something that you can't understand. You can't really understand. So people just started treating me differently, and people started wanting to hear what I have to say, and like people just, and even with like family and stuff, oh, you get more compliments of, oh, you look so beautiful, oh, you look so beautiful, you look so great, look at you, what a beautiful girl, and stuff like that when you lost the weight. So fast forward to varsity. First year I was still good. Second year I started gaining weight back again. Fast forward to this is my last second year, in Jesus' name, amen. And fast forward to now, I'm a big girl again, and I started walking, and the plan was never to lose weight when I was walking, right? But then I just did. I was just doing it to like for my mental health and whatever. So I didn't necessarily change my eating habits. I still don't have like a healthy relationship with food. Like I wouldn't say that I have a healthy relationship with food. So I just started walking. I was like, you know what, let me do this for my mental health. Just some form of routine. So something that I do every morning. So that's what I was doing. And then I started losing the weight. And then it started again, like that whole thing of when I was 16 was, and now I'm a 23-year-old woman, and the same thing was happening again of like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, look at you. Oh my God, you don't have a waist, etc., etc., etc. And I'm not even gonna lie, like I live off those things because what are the odds? What are the odds that you will be getting those compliments as a fatty? What are the odds? Because fat is already seen as like a negative thing. Like right now, I'm sure there are people who are cringing every single time I call myself a fat girl. But fat is a descriptive word, and when I talk about my experiences, I'm like, you know, in the society that we live in, as a fat person, you always have to fight. The minute I say fat, it's always like, no, I don't like when you call yourself fat because you're really not fat. You're just like average or like whatever. Like being fat is a terrible thing. I don't think that being fat is a terrible thing. It's just a descriptive word. Or, you know, oh, you're so beautiful for a fat girl. Or, no, you're not fat, friend. You're beautiful. I never said I was ugly. I said I was fat. Like, even the same way, if we're gonna say, oh my God, that nigga is buff, we never said that nigga is ugly or hot. We just said that nigga is buff. He got shoulders, got six pack. That's what we said. We never said, oh my God, he ugly or whatever, you know. And in as much as people always mean well, it leaves me in that place of like, damn, like, when I'm at my biggest, who's gonna find me beautiful, who's gonna appreciate me, and who's going to listen to me? I don't know if you guys know, you can Google the stats, but fat people don't get it's not a matter of like, oh, gifuni attention yamato. It's not a matter of like, oh, I want men's attention, but we're gonna get to that like a little later in this episode. It's just, people respect you when people want to hear what you have to say, when people like, they treat you differently when you lose weight, man. They treat you differently when you lose weight, and they treat you differently when you're at your smallest versus when you're at your biggest, you know. Like I was saying, with in terms of like job interviews or whatever, there was a survey that was done that fat people, and that survey showed that like fat people don't get hired because they perceived as lazy workers. They're not going to get the job done. and they are just like neat and slobs, basically. Fat, that's the perception that is given of fat people. So if that's how we always portrayed in movies and series, in like the world generally, like you can't even, as a fat person, you can't even sleep until 10, because you're gonna be told the way, oh my god, you're so lazy, oh my god, you're so lazy. And me being fat is not a reflection of how well I can do my job, or how much wisdom I have, or how much I can say or add to society. It doesn't, being fat doesn't take away from the person that I am and from the value that I have. And I always feel like being a fat person, in order to get jobs and in order to be noticed and to be that girl, you have to be extremely exceptional in all the things that you do. You don't have a chance to be mediocre, because the world is up against you. The world is up against you. You don't have the chance to be a mediocre girl. You don't have that opportunity to just be mediocre, because the world is already up against you. You have to be the best. Do you understand? You have to be the best. And even when you are the best, there's still the chance that somebody who is seen as more quote unquote healthy, and somebody who is skinnier than you, or somebody who fits society's mold of the healthy quote unquote beautiful girl, is gonna get that role that you are working that hard for. You can be, and I'm not taking away from the work that people put in. What I'm saying is, as a fat girl, you can put in the most work and it still might not work for you, because you're a fat girl. You have to always be exceptional. And then there's the whole body positive movement, right? Then there's the whole body positive movement, right? Of like, oh my god, like I love my body and whatever. And then that movement has a particular type of fat girly that works. It's always tall girlies, hourglass figure. You know what I'm saying? You've never seen anybody with, I can't show you, I don't know how to do it, with like a triangle body form, round, like apple body, like round body form. You never see those people thrive. It's always the people who have the hourglass shape. So it's like, now you moving towards a society or people that are trying to fight and start a revolution for being fat, which whatever. And then there's a specific type that gets to make it. There's a specific type that gets to be truly them. There's a specific type that gets to be seen as hot and beautiful, and this specific type that gets to be appreciated. What about us Dipumpesto who are just round? What about us fat shorties? You know what I'm saying? The world is still up against us. The world is up against us, and it's very upsetting. And for me, there was a time where I was like, you know what, do I want to be known as a fat girl? Like, do I want to make that my brand? And the reason why I've never spoken about this or never had this conversation, even though I have so much to say about it, I didn't even write notes, is because I don't want to be branded as the fat girl, as I don't want to have to start a revolution to exist. And obviously this is something that I've said, but I just feel like, why must it always be a fight to show that I'm worthy of being called beautiful in the society? I'm worthy of finding clothes in my sizes. Why is there plus size? Why is there not just clothes? And even the whole thing of like, just the way society is up against us, like there's nothing more depressing than you go into stores and you are not finding the sizes that you are looking for. You don't find jeans, you don't find, like, I like looking cute, and I've sort of resorted to just wearing jeans and a top. jeans and top, because I don't have the stamina, the emotional health stamina to keep going into these stores and to keep going out into society that keeps showing me blatantly, you're not you're not valued, you're not appreciated. You always have to fight to be seen. You always have to you always have to fight just for a place in this world, And I was telling someone the other day, you don't have to prove your worth to anybody. Like, at the end of the day, I don't have to prove my worth to anybody because Jesus found me worthy enough to die for. Why must I prove my worth to society? Why must I be fighting, make bigger sizes? Why are the plus size clothes always ugly? Why are they ugly? We want to wear crop top, we want to wear miniskirts, we want to wear everything that is everything else that the quote unquote normal bodied people wear or average size people wear. We want to wear those things. Like, we want to be cute. We want to follow trends. Damn, like, some of these trends be kind of cute, and sometimes we want to participate in those trends. Why must it always be a thing? And just more than just this topic's actually kind of depressing me. It's kind of depressing me because now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, damn, like, why I gotta fight for all of this? Like, why can't I just walk into a store and know that I'm definitely gonna find a size? Why do I just have 2 stores that I can shop from? The thing is, I'm not even the fattest that they come. So can you imagine if I'm struggling, how many more people are struggling? Why must we suffer? What the hell must we suffer? What the hell must we suffer? Like, why are our experiences always so terrible? And now, going from just society hates us and society doesn't accommodate for being fat, which is wild, because if you look at majority of South African bodies, maybe you should be accommodating fat people because we be fat. And even if we're not quote unquote fat, like, we have hips, we have difupa, we have boobs, and obviously that's not everybody who has that, but like, let's cater for every single body, because there is absolutely no wrong way of having a body. And how can we get to a point where we love each and every stage of our body that we are in when I can't find clothes anymore? What the hell am I supposed to wear? How can you imagine how hard it is to be fashionable as a fat girl? To have taste. I even lie to myself and say, you know what, I don't even care about what I wear, because what's the point of me saying, okay, this is the outfit I want to put together, this is the look I want to put together, and it doesn't matter anyways. It's just so disheartening. Even with things like, what I'll notice is, I'm getting emotional. Even with things like, I'll notice how the people who, so obviously I'm trying to be a YouTuber. Instagram is obviously, like, I'm growing my Instagram because usually brands want you to have like, your Instagram and your YouTube sort of need to match in terms of like analytics and like numbers and stuff like that. So I really do want to be a YouTuber, and I got to a point where I was like, you know what, maybe I don't want to, because the people that are making it, the people that are blowing up, I ain't never seen a black girl. I ain't never seen a black fat girl really like blow up like that. And it was disheartening, because I'd even look at, like, okay, let me look at the Christian space, the Christian girlies who have it going on, the Christian girlies who reach the 100K, the girlies who reach the 100K, the people who reach the 100K are people that don't fall on the fat side of the body spectrum, if that's even a thing. And I was just like, what's the point of all this hard work that I'm putting in? I can't have quote unquote pretty privilege because I'm a fatty. I'm a fatty. And it's just so, like, demotivating in the same sense where I was telling you guys that society, you're less likely to get a job if you're fat than if you look quote unquote healthy in the people who are interviewing you's eyes. You're less likely to get the job. No matter how qualified you are, they will most likely hire someone who's a little less qualified than you and falls on the not fat side of the body spectrum. And that's just it. That's also how I feel in terms of like content and being a YouTuber. You have to be extremely exceptional. You have to be the acceptable form of fat, or you're just not gonna make it, or your journey is just not gonna be as fast as it will be for people who don't fall on the fat side of the spectrum. Just desirability politics. How society will favor the people that they deem desirable. Like even things like, I don't want a baby that nobody wants to pick up at church. What do you mean by that? It all has to do with desirability. Like some babies are more likely to be liked than others because of how they look. And that shouldn't be the case, because I believe that children are our future. Treat them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Anyways, but that's just how it is, and that's how I feel in terms of like YouTube and whatever. Like, if you're not exceptional as a fat girl, just forget about it. You hear me? Forget about it. Even think you can work. But if you are desirable, it's gonna work out in your favor faster. Obviously, it's still gonna be less slower than a person who's not fat, but it's gonna be faster. And I don't know. Maybe it will be worth it in the end, but I don't know. Anyways, to get to now, so I'm at this stage. I say I want to start going on dates, but I think I'm joking, because whenever people ask me to go out on dates, I sort of freeze. But that's not what we're talking about today. So let's talk about dating as a fat girl. The experiences. I don't really have much experiences, because you know that TikTok sound when it's like looking at all my crushes, exes, and then the sound goes, "You don't like me, do you?" And that's kind of like how I feel. Like, you don't like me, do you? It's that thing again of like, you have to be extremely beautiful, or you have to have sex appeal as a fat girl to be. There's a certain fat girl that's desirable, the slim thick, the edgy, if you will, fat girls that are desirable. So their dating experiences are always better than mine, you know. And obviously it's not competition, and we all have different experiences, but it's like I want to be desired, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want the quote-unquote privilege. I want to be like buying grocery and somebody's like, "Oh my god, I'm just going to pay for your grocery because you're beautiful," or like, I want to be sitting down at a coffee shop and someone's like, "Oh my god, like, I don't want to bother you," or just like, "Oh my god, you're so pretty, let me buy you your coffee," or I don't know, or like, "Oh my god, I want to take you out on a date. Sup, baby, take me out to dinner." And I don't know, like, I just feel like that's never my story, especially like if I'm getting emotional, especially if like I'm hanging out with a group of my friends that don't fall on the fat side of the body spectrum. And everybody will get asked out, and you're always that third wheel that nobody wants. And you know how sometimes there's that whole thing of like, okay, like, let's say one of the people in your friend group has a boyfriend, and they bring their friends, and then you bring your friends or whatever, and then everybody's sort of like, I'm kind of feeling her, ooh, I'm kind of feeling her, ooh, I'm kind of feeling her, and then you, that fat girl, like sitting on the side. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. And in terms of the dating experience, I will say it's not the guy's fault, really. It's not the guy's fault. Society has just done this to us. Obviously, guys always want to have the hottest girl in the room. If society is saying the hottest, ego, whatever, men, whatever, rolls my eyes. But anyways, that if society always portrays that the hottest girl in the room is girls that don't fall on the fat side of the body spectrum, and girls that are yellow bone, because there's also that, or girls that are racially ambiguous or whatever, those are the people that the guys are gonna go for. Will they settle for you? And not to say that like every fat girl who has a person is being settled for. No, that's not the case. I know there are fat girls who are being loved loudly and unashamedly, and there are people who are going for fat girls because they're like young funa. But I'm talking like in the grand scheme of society now. And they're like, you know what? Yo, I'm gonna go for that girl, because I'm not gonna be showing my guys my girl and they're gonna be like, yeah, yo, what I be they want to show king. They want to show their guys, and then the guys are like, yo, whatever niggas say. I don't know, I'm not a nigga. You know what I mean? So that's just the experience. It's very like, how do I even get to a point where I'm putting myself out there again when I'm so used to being the one on the sidelines? Even when you watch these stories, maybe if there's like a fat girl main character, it's always a story of like, oh, they didn't want her at first, then they like had to fall in love with her personality in order to realize she's actually beautiful, she's actually the one for me. Like, there's some weird stuff like that, and it's just like, no, I'm hot now, like me now, ayo. Like, why is that always the fat girl trope of like, she's the best friend, she like, can she never be the main character? Why she gotta be the fat best friend with no love life, just there to support the skinny girl? Well, sometimes not to support the girl whose body isn't on the fat side of the body spectrum's life. CE main character nati, we're also main characters, and our stories also matter, and our voices also matter, and damn, our bodies, like, there's no right way to have a body, there's no wrong way to have a body, there's no, just have a body. Why must I fight to have a body? Why must I fight to prove my worth when Jesus died for me? I don't have to prove my worth to anybody. So those are just my experiences with being a fat girl, and this is not now your opportunity to say, no, you're not fat, you're beautiful, because that's making me again. That's making me angry again from the beginning, because it's like, are you listening, bruv? Are you hearing yourself, bruv? Stop going around saying that to people, but also generally just shut up about people's bodies. Let's also normalize that. Shut up about people's bodies, because in as much as, yes, I was losing weight, I don't have a healthy relationship with food. Like, I'm happy when I don't eat because I want to lose weight, because I want to walk into a store and find clothes that fit me, because I also want to be the girly who makes it, because I also want to be a girly who has great dating experiences, because I also want to be the girly who's that girly, because in as much as I'm like, yes, like, I love Jesus, and like, okay, like, no, people in church are different, society is society. If society says this is the type of beautiful, then that's the type of beautiful. So I always thought that, no, like, I'm gonna be loved as I am there at church, and I ain't never been held by anybody at church, and I obviously we all know we've established I have a great, amazing personality. Fine, I'm not a mysterious girl, but I'm an amazing person. And I niggas still, it's still that thing of like, ain't nobody gonna be choosing a person on that side of the body spectrum, because everybody wants to be with her girl. Obviously, I can't speak on the experiences of fat guys, because there's also body shaming for men. Like, there's also body shaming for men. There's also a certain type of man that's seen as more desirable than the other type. Obviously, I don't think it's as hectic for men as it is for women, but I don't know, because I have never lived your experiences. So if you're a fat guy or skinny guy or whatever, and you want to share your experiences, you're more than welcome to share them in the comment section, just so that we can be all aware of what we're going through. But it's just very sad for me that this is what I've been dealt, you know? And there's always that solution of like, oh, well, if you're not happy with your body, then just work on it. And you can do all of that, but at the end of the day, like, when I was like that smallest that I was, whenever I retell my stories about first year, I'm always saying I was a gimba. I was a skinny girl. You can see my collarbone. You know? And it's like, you can do all of that as much as you want, but it's not going to change the way you perceive yourself. First, you have to love yourself as you are currently. You can't, like they were saying on To My Sister's podcast, you can't say I'm going to love my body when I reach a specific destination. But also, I don't want to have to lose weight for me to be able to be appreciated, valued, and seen in the society that I live in. You guys know I was speaking about the Maslow hierarchy of needs in one of the episodes, and being accepted is one of those needs, and it's very hard being a fat girl in a world that hates us. And I don't want to be that, like, and I hate that whole body positivity movement that shames other people more than other people. Let's just all be, and let's not invalidate people's experiences just because we don't understand them. There are a lot of people who are going to be listening to this podcast and they completely don't understand what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, these are my experiences and this is how I feel. Don't invalidate that because you've never walked in my shoes and you've never walked in my body. Okay? You've never walked in my body. But back to what I was saying, actually. I don't want that whole thing of like, I'm bringing, Megan Trainor, when she was, I'm bringing booty back. Go ahead and tell them skinny teen that. Why are they teens just because they're skinny? I don't understand. There's no need for there to be beef between fat girls, skinny girls. There's no need for, oh yeah, we're just going to be a group of fat girls who love each other and empower each other. There's no need for all of that. Let's just be. Everybody. Let's be everybody. Do you get it? But that's all that I have to say for today. Today was kind of serious for me. Like, it was kind of serious because it's kind of a sad conversation for me. It actually upsets me. And I'm still working on my self-worth and like what I believe about myself and who God says I am. Still working on all those aspects, and also just truly believing that who God says I am is above anything that society can put on me, and is above me not finding clothes that fit me and all of that, and above me not being desirable. I'm still trying to get to a point where I can fully feel like I'm worthy and feel like I don't have to fight to be appreciated and loved. I don't have to be the loudest in the room in order for me to be seen, in order for me to be heard. I don't know, but at the end of the day, society sucks, and I guess that's why God said be in this world and not of this world. Don't conform to the norms of this world because they suck. And that's it from me today. If you haven't already liked this YouTube video, make sure that you do. If you're watching on YouTube, if you are listening on the streaming platforms, please make sure that you leave a review for me so that other people can know what we're all about on this podcast, and they can see for themselves, do they want to check it out or not. Let me know if you're feeling it or not. I'm back. I think I'm trying to get back into my routine, so I will be back next week Friday again. This episode was not necessarily the funnest episode, but it was just to get people thinking and to get people to sort of know their privilege, I would say. But there's nothing they can, like, yes, they're gonna know their privilege, but then them knowing their privilege is not gonna cause me to be heard more, seen more, whatever, or get clothes in my sizes. It's like a much bigger thing, but I think it's always great to open your eyes to different perspectives and different ways that people are perceived and different experiences that people have. So that's it from me today. This one was a hard conversation for me to have. I'm even skeptical uploading this because I feel like there's going to be an element of my experiences being invalidated. But anyways, that's it from me today. I'll see you guys in the next episode or in the next video. If you already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please make sure that you follow me on Instagram at @1and_Rory on all social media platforms. So check me out. I'm a TikToker these days. Guess it, TikTok. I say haha. It's giving TikTok sensation. So check me out. And obviously, like, on Instagram, we get to talk in the DMs and we actually get to interact. So if you'd like to talk to me personally, please DM me on Instagram. Then we can have a great conversation about this so we can dive into it deeper. If you're comfortable commenting in the comment section, do that. That's it from me, folks. I'll see you guys next week. I really didn't sing much this week because it wasn't jovial. But what matters is, even if maybe society doesn't deem you as worthy, Jesus loves you when he loved you enough to die on the cross for you. He found you worthy. And remember, at the end of the day, that the worldview is tainted. So if it's tainted, we should be in the world and not of the world. We shouldn't conform to the norms of the society. If the society says that you are ugly or you have a body in the wrong way, they lying, because God said we mustn't conform. So clearly, if all the society is saying that, then all the society is lying, because you're beautiful, you're wonderfully and fearfully made, and God knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. So he loves you, yes he loves you, yes he loves you unconditionally. Unlike me, I love people conditionally, cause sometimes people are trash, but God loves you unconditionally. Yeah.